What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. All right, so we have Czar Yugioh 1361 versus Vangsta 24. All right, so let's try and recap. At some point, an artifact Sanctum was played. Not sure what happened with that, but we see a field of Michael and a bunch of back row. Czar Yugioh, he went for Undyne. He dropped Dragoons, which I believe searched Megalo. He then activated Allure of Darkness. You see that he tried to drop Megalo by going Heavy Infantry and what's this guy? Turge. So he's still going to lose the Michael regardless because it still gets killed. And now he's going to play Soul Charge, I assume for like, well, 4 max. I mean, he only has 4,800, plus he has only 4 zones empty, so I would think he's at least going 3 deep. And with Vangsta just losing out to, I mean, with him just losing his what's it called? With him just now losing his vanities, chances are he doesn't have to. Alright, so I wonder what he's going to go for. Well, okay, so he goes 4 deep instead of 3. The lens kind of odd. Although I guess he might want to activate, what's it called? It looks like he's trying to activate even more effects as they come back. He's activating the Turge effect to get Heavy Infantry. I don't know, man, but Bahamut Shark's looking real right here. To go on Bahamut Shark, and if I'm not mistaken, when you detach Dragoons, you still get to resolve that effect. So that's really, really good. So anyways, he added Heavy Infantry back to his hand by getting rid of Pike. Problem is, I think he kind of, you know what? I think he needs to consolidate his field. So actually, the Lindy might be like really good right here. He just has to watch his life points. Okay, so he's going for Abyss Dweller. Oh wow, I totally forgot. Wait, it'll trigger on Abyss Dweller too, right? When it's detached. Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking about Bahamut Shark. I didn't even realize it'll totally trigger. The Dragoons will trigger with Abyss Dweller. I totally forgot that thing was freaking water. It's so ironic that it has Abyss in its name, and it came out in Abyss Rising, if I'm not mistaken, and yet it is a card that like completely counters. It completely counters like Mermail. So now he can just go in the Ghost Trick Alucard and just pop the face down, or he could not do that. He could go into he could go in Levier and he could activate Pike's effect, and you know what? Pike can still use Marksman. That's cool. So he's getting rid of Marksman, and dude, he's really going off. Now I don't know if Vangsta is playing what's it called? If it's playing Shaddolls or not. But I would like to see this because again, people have told me that Mermail beat Shaddolls, and I want to see it. So he's going after the back row. Now keep in mind, if this is Shaddolls and that's a what do you call that card? Sinister Shadow Games, it's not gonna do a ton. Alright, so Vangsta is saying that he lagged. What happened was he exceed into Levier, the Sea Dragon, and why is Levier wind? It just dawned on me that he's in the middle of an ocean. I mean, a sea. I get what why is he wind? Like, I never put 2 and 2 together, even like all the way when Generation Force came out. Alright, so anyways, yeah. He activated Pike, discarding a Marksman, and I think he searched another Marksman. Yep, add 1 water, level 3 or lower. Yeah, he searched another Marksman from Pike, and now he's going after the back row. Ooh, he just evac'd Abysstius. Dude, no, why would you evac Abysstius? He's just gonna summon it. Oh man, I really don't know about that. Like, I think I might have evac'd the Abyss Dweller the second it hit the field. So I almost certainly think he's gonna summon Abysstius, and that's exactly what he does, using the Marksman. And now he's going after the other back row card. And that is, what's it called? It's Muratek. He gets Gundy. Again, he's locked under Abyss Dweller, so it can't activate. Now he's going for Megalo. And I think Vangsta is scooping. Okay, Vangsta is scooping. Here's the one thing I don't know if I was crazy about. The fact that he summoned Megalo, but he used its effect when, he used its effect by discarding Gundy, but then he couldn't Like, he couldn't use the Gundy effect. I mean, I guess in the grand scheme it didn't matter because he was gonna already get himself a spear, and he'd have a ton of cards on field, and he'd be able to go Draco Sack and pop a card. So I guess it didn't totally matter, but you know, just something I don't know if I necessarily agree with. All right, so we will definitively see what the hell Vanksta is playing, and Vanksta chooses first. And I think I said in my other video where I was recording Mermail, my understanding is that they have a great Shaddolls matchup and that they love going second. That Mermail will always, always, always go second. It doesn't matter what they play, they will go second. So, because you have, like, I've always thought that Mermail, because of Pike being at 3 and because of Undyne being at 3, like, Mermail is one of the decks in the game, much like Burning Abyss, that, like, hardly ever breaks, because the whole deck is combo oriented, but there's all your combos are like 2-card combos, so you're just gonna fucking draw them, you know what I mean? So you see how he's able to take Pike and just discard any random card. He doesn't even need to get a plus from Pike to ultimately get a plus from Undyne, which is a card that is essentially a +2, so it just gets you to even more combo pieces. He takes the free damage with Pike, which is like, it's just, you know, that's basically icing on the cake. You see Artifact Ignition used on Abyss Sphere, and you wonder if he'll go okay, he goes for a Muratech set, and now, okay, he's gonna activate Sanctum. I was like, I wonder maybe if he might be trying to set up for a play involving Begaltech, and you see that Zara Yugioh hits him with the Max C, so he'll draw 1 because he activated it to Sanctum. And I guess Vanksta says, I'm changing it up then, bro. I'm going to go and just take my +1. Here's the thing, though. I think Zara Yugioh has to feel good about that. And I think you feel good about that because basically, okay, you got a 1-for-1. This card essentially is dead on the field now. Before, you would have been potentially staring down a Pallades plus a whole bunch of, you know, like a bunch of damage. Not sure if you wanted to deal with that problem. Now your opponent essentially has a dead Muratech, and Zara Yugioh chains a Maxi to the Shaddolls Fusion. He discards Beast, and obviously he's going to get rid of his Muratech. So he's going to get a free draw from the Construct, but he's guaranteed that Vanksta's probably not going to summon Falco, and I'm pretty sure Vanksta wanted to go Falco. Like, he probably wanted to go Falco because, you know, you get your Beast back, and that sets up a bunch of plays. Now he has to go for Hedgehog. I'm not sure how good that really is. I guess he wants to potentially just draw or, you know, search out the Falco and set it manually the old school way without having to special summon it. So he is going to attack directly. Abyss Sphere is played. Vanksta could have like a Vanities, or okay, he could have that. He could have a Artifact Ignition in his hand. So yeah, the Lindy should go back to the deck. And now he has all types of artifacts in his back row. I mean, he already has 1 Muratech back there. I guess you set up a Begaltech or something like that and just like pray to God you hit a double Cyclone or something. Okay, so he plays another Muratech, and now he's out of Muratechs. And then he sets what we assume is Falco. Okay, so now Zara Yugioh has to basically fight back. Okay, here comes Undyne. And I think he's probably going to go for Dragoons. And maybe you go Dragoons and you dump. And then you get like Megalo. Alright, well, you get your controller, obviously. And he gets Heavy Infantry instead. Interesting. So now he's going to summon Abystius. Okay, that's cool. Abystius is going to trigger, and so is Heavy Infantry. Down goes, what's it called? Down goes Construct. And out comes Gundy. Oh Lord, I'll say this: if he summons Megalo, it is. I do not know that it's gonna matter that he got that Shaddolls Fusion, because he will have so much fucking damage on board. And Zara Yugioh preemptively is going to activate. Okay, and I guess Zara Yugioh just scooped it up. He I guess he wouldn't be able to deal with the Falco, plus you you know, him having a shut-off fusion. He wouldn't be, well, I know he wouldn't be able to get over Beast, so that would be a problem. Anyways, I'm gonna guess that Zar Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to pick second. Let's see what happens here. Especially knowing that you can't get super polyed in this match, and Zar Yu-Gi-Oh! Opts to go second. As we, you know, as people have told me, Mermail will always go second no matter what they're playing. I guess unless you're playing like super anti-meta, plays 3 Banisher in the main deck, or 3 Banisher, 3 Fossil Dyna, 3 D-Prison, you know, 3 fucking Mind Crushes. I guess you always want to go second. And honestly, considering that you have turn 1 plays like Undyne and Pike, which your opponent really can't stop, like, I think going second makes tons of sense. Alright, so you see he activates 7 swords, banishing a Megalo. Now, 7 swords seems like very interesting tech. Is that card at 2 or 1 or what? Like, I forget. Now, it does actually make sense, because if you play Title, plus you play multiple Megalos, which I believe that a lot of Mermail players have said that they've gone back to playing multiple Megalos, like playing 2 or 3, and then you have Abystheus, which you always play 3 of. You know, you can definitely have a lot of 7s. Okay, so you've got the Gen X Undyne, and he's going to dump Dragoons. And this is why I think going second is so good. You put your opponent in a position where, like, they have to have warning. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't, like, Breakthrough Skill doesn't do shit against Gen X Undyne. Like, you know, Artifact Sanctum doesn't do shit against Gen X Undyne. Your opponent's still getting their pluses. Like, you see how many fucking cards he has in his hand? Like, oh my god. Alright, so he goes Heavy Infantry, and he goes for, I believe that was Pike. He's going to summon Megalo, and he gets Spear. Now he still has, what's it called? I was going to say, I don't think he should Tribute. I think he should just attack twice and keep both monsters on board. I wouldn't want to consolidate my options, because if you get Sanctum, you just get fucked, and that's exactly what happens. I believe that he did the right play, and mainly I was just thinking about Sanctum. I was like, all right, if you get Sanctum, your dude gets blown up, and I want to keep 2 monsters on board so that you know, Gen X Undyne can absorb an attack. Basically, you see that he's going to chain MST to the Sanctum. I guess he's going with the odds of him not having another, what's it called? I guess he was thinking that the odds were he probably didn't have an artifact set if he already had an artifact in his, if he already had a Sanctum, that he probably wouldn't have any more artifacts set. Alright, so he sets 3. I think advantage is dead even. 5 on 5? Yep. Okay, so he's activating Aquamirror Cycle. I totally forget what that card does off the top of my hand. I know it's fucking insane though. Oh yeah, I think you tribute... Yeah, you tribute a water monster you control, and then you get 2 water monsters in your grave, and you shuffle the first one into your deck. That card is, oh my god, this card is fucking bananas. So basically, oh my god, the pluses you get with this with Undyne are stupid. Okay, so basically he gets to send Undyne back, which already is a +2, and then he gets Undyne and Pike. And now he already, I mean, we knew he had Spear, so, you know, obviously he's going to activate the Spear. He's not getting an attack through, basically. All he has to do is just get Lindy, and, you know, I don't think Vank still wants any part of Lindy, because if he attacks Lindy, okay, so he's going to Maxium. It makes it a little more tolerable. I mean, that can just really get him Megalo. That can get him a lot of shit. Okay, he goes for Pike. Pike's a legitimate option because he can get rid of Dragoons. He can get Megalo. He can search a ton of shit, basically. But, okay, so he's going to go for Undyne. I mean, Undyne still can technically clear this field. I was thinking he could just drop a Heavy Infantry to blow this guy up, but he's going to search it instead. And the good thing about what's it called is, about Mermails, they can kind of play around Vanity's emptiness with infantry and marksman. Like, they're still going to get theirs because those cards are sent as cost. So, you know, even if the monster doesn't get summoned, it goes back to the hand, they still get to resolve those effects. So we see that he has an Undyne and a Heavy Infantry. And I'm guessing if he's going to summon Undyne, he'll go Title Drop. He clearly has enough waters in his graveyard to go Title Drop. Or he might just go preemptively and just go ahead and get rid of the the Undying with what's it called, by discarding and using heavy infantry. But either way, all right. So there it is. He's going to go for Pike. He's going to activate Pike's effect, almost certainly getting rid of heavy infantry and popping this guy in the process. No, he's going Gundy. He's going all in. I don't totally remember his graveyard. All right, so he's getting Marksman. It looks like he's going for kind of a setup play. All right, so now he's going to activate Gundy's effect. I guess he can get Lindy, and then he can crash with Lindy, and then he can activate something. That would be a really good play, by the way, if he was able to crash with Lindy, and that looks like it's what he's going to do. He has Lindy in attack mode. Outside of a Vanity's Emptiness, basically. I mean, that would be a nice counter. Okay, so he's going to attack. And Vangsta has no response. I'm trying to think of what card he might go for. And Turge is coming to mind. Turge seems like a really legitimate option. There it is. Okay, so he's going Turge. Mainly because I can guess that Turge can pop the face down monster during the battle phase. And you can still, I was thinking you can get back Gundy as well. And basically, okay, he's going after back row. Makes sense. It's damage step, so he can't activate the stuff. He gets rid of Artifact Ignition. Zara will not be able to use his battle phase next turn. He's going to just attack the face down monster. Wonder what it is. Now, if Vangsta has a Squamata set, then that's bad. And he does have a Squamata set. And that's really bad because those level 4s are not important because he wasn't going to attack with them anyway. What Zara Yugioh will probably do is he'll probably exceed into either 101 or he'll exceed into Bahamut Shark is pretty good. 101 is good. Castell would be kind of at the bottom of my list. Like, I would probably go Bahamut Shark before anything else. Like, I feel like Bahamut Shark has the highest upside because not only does it just get over Muratek, but then I get a 2800 body. Like, I get Sprite too, and like even if you have El Shaddolls Fusion, you can kill my Bahamut Shark. I'm still getting my floater regardless. I'll find a way to deal with Construct. Okay, he doesn't exceed for some reason. Oh, he must be thinking about what's it called. He must be thinking about Shaddolls Fusion and not wanting him to maximize Shaddolls Fusion. So I guess he's content letting his guys die. And that's what he does. Basically he just lets Pike die. I'm not so certain he even has Shaddolls Fusion, but I almost certainly would have exceed. I would not have exceed into 101. I would have went Bahamut Shark. Regardless, I expect him to go Genix Undying, probably drop Title into the graveyard, and then kind of go like Title Beat or something like that. Knowing that you still have Controller to potentially go into Leo. And Leo can be kind of problematic for Shaddolls if they can't get the Construct. Basically, if they can't get the Construct, I guess they only have Super Poly and... No, Leo's Earth. They can't Super Poly pre-new challengers. So anyways. Alright, so he's adding Controller. And there goes Title into the graveyard. And... questions here becomes, what are you going to do? Problem is, with the Title plays, you open yourself up to Vanities. I'm not sure that Vangsta has Vanities, because it seems like he would have already used it before, like on the Lindy attack, but, outside of Vanities is a really good play. So, I mean, basically the Title gets over Muratek, which is Vangsta's only significant offense right now. And he's not attacking the face down, so maybe Zara Yugioh might have Vanity set that he just set. Like, he might be trying to look at it to counter Falco. Okay. Oh, Shadow Mirror is played. I believe that card was already set. So maybe he could have attacked last turn and just flipped it. Maybe he wanted them to use it on his turn. I don't know. So anyways, down comes Math Man. And he might just be looking to just attack, basically. Mathematician is going to activate its effect. Maybe he plays Phalus. I don't know. Anything else seems kind of like a waste of time, honestly. Okay, so he drops Beguile attack, unless he has Soul Charge. Soul Charge would be legitimate. You know, you just add more cards to your graveyard so that there's more cards you can get back. I mean, he could go 3 deep, basically. He's looking at his extra deck. He has 2 level 3s on field. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think Shaddolls play an extensive, like, rank 3 mix in their deck. Like, they might play Alucard, which is dark, so you can't use his effect, but outside of that, I'm not really sure. Now, he does have Soul Charge, so, looks like he's going for all his artifacts plus Squamata, which he can't use right now. Question is, I mean, I guess you have to go Pallades, right? Because the other rank 5s don't do anything. Like, your opponent will just totally summon Tidal back and just beat the shit out of any other level 5 that you summon. So, like, and he has no tuners, which Falco's the only tuner in the deck, so he can't synchro. I mean, if he could synchro, he can make all types of good shit. He could go, let's see. If this was Falco, he'd have 5, 9. Oh, Trishula, if you were only legal, right? Okay, so he's saying you can't. Can't what? Oh yeah, it's level 5 or... Oh my god, it's level 4 or lower. Whoopsie. Whoopsie, how did we miss that? How did we miss that? Alright, yeah. You know, rather than going through all of that, what he really should just do is send another monster. What he really should do is just send another damn monster. Yeah, sometimes we miss things on the Capital G show. Like sending an artifact to the graveyard with Mathematician. That is super illegal. Super illegal. I'm about to start watching One Piece again. Just random note. Anyways, okay, so he sends Falco. That makes way more sense from the beginning, honestly. Like sending the Falco, because then you can Black Rose. Or you can make Arcanite Magician. Like, doesn't that make way more sense than even sending the artifact? I mean, with the artifact, if you Pallades, your opponent can still do shit. Like, basically, if you Pallades, they can just be like, summon Genix Controller and attempt to make Black Rose, and if you don't negate it, you lose your entire board. And I can still use my title after that and attack you, beat the shit out of you. Or they could just summon title and attack, and you have to bounce it, otherwise you lose it. So, yeah. He gained 3,000 life points. Nothing really changed, honestly. He dumped Falco. It's fine. It's not gonna trigger as long as Shadow Mirror is out there. He's gonna play Soul Charge. We expected that. He's going for Falco. Maybe Squamata and Murtat. Okay, that's what he goes for. Now we can think about what type of options he has here, basically. Let's see. He can't attack, so there will be no Goyo Guardian action. But, can he summon Leo somehow? Okay, 5, 7. Yeah, I guess right there, that's 5, 7, 10. If he would have used, Hedgehog, that's totally 10. Okay, so he's going to activate Michael's effect. I'm honestly shocked that he summoned Michael. So he's going to banish title. And what is it that you search title? I'm totally seeing if he has any, any monsters that he can search. I think they run something in their deck that they can search, right? You can add a water dragon. Huh, he has Dragon Eyes. Okay, so they don't generally run something they can search, but he just happens to run a monster that he can search. I was trying to think if they ran anything else that they could actually search, like any just of the basic monsters. So he gets to activate Michael's effect, which doesn't do anything because it doesn't matter what he mills, they're not going to activate because Shadow Mirror is on the field. During the end phase, Murtat gets hit with MST, and Zara Yu-Gi-Oh! Can pretty much do whatever he wants. Yeah, man, I think you might have tried to go Leo because I'm looking at this Hedgehog in 800 attack in attack position, and I think that that's kind of a liability right now, with you only having 2,300 life points. Mathematician also doesn't have a very high attack, and that's 6 and 10. He could go Leo too, even without the title, if I counted him right. So it looks like instead he's going to go for Levia, which seems to be a theme in this duel. Okay, so he's breaking out the Pike. Now he's going to get rid of that heavy infantry. Probably to pop this dude right here. I don't think he has any light sworns in his graveyard, so he won't be able to activate that effect. He's searching out, he's going to search out Lindy. No, he's going Mathematician. I guess he just doesn't want to, he doesn't want that to get triggered. I guess that's fine. It doesn't matter. He's going into battle phase. He's getting rid of Squamata. He's getting rid of Hedgehog. And will he exceed or not? That's the question. Okay, so finally he is going to exceed. I guess he feels that the threat of El Shaddol or Shaddol Fusion just isn't there, which I agree with, honestly. So he is going to go for 101. He's going to absorb the what's it called? He's going to absorb the Michael. I might have summoned 101 in defense. Honestly, I probably wouldn't. I probably would have summoned it in attack mode. And I mean, Vankster pretty much has to have like a really just like God card, like BLS basically, or he'll just lose very quickly. BLS would be like one of the only outs basically. Oh Lord, does he actually have BLS? Okay. He actually has BLS. He actually has BLS. Now keep in mind, he can't kill the field completely. He can either banish this and have to deal with this, or he can attack this and attack that. This will still obviously live. So he could put it in defense mode next turn if he didn't have a way to get over BLS. With 5 cards, well, drawing to 5 cards, I think that he probably has an out to BLS. A BLS for Mermails is not the be all end all, unless you like game them or something like that. They can find ways to fucking get around the card. So he opts to, that's interesting. He totally opts to banish the, what's it called? The 101. Keep in mind that he could probably use the Levier during his next turn. Did you really want to do that? Fair enough. I guess he does. Okay. All right. He had a way of getting over Levier. There we go. I wasn't sure if he had a way of getting over Levier. And then he passed his turn. I guess he felt like he wasn't going to get any value out of the dragon anyway. Yeah, I guess that was pretty much the only play. It's not like he could attack 101 twice, so I guess he felt like he might as well banish it, not have to deal with it, because he wouldn't want it next turn attacking over his dragon. Okay, so he's going to summon Lindy. Lindy can obviously crash into dragon. Vankster can't do anything because he has no cards, so it's pretty much at the will of Zard Yu-Gi-Oh! I feel like he's going to bring out a 7 at some point. I guess just not now. So Pike comes out. Pike gets rid of Gundy. Oh, okay. So from here, he should be able to just spin it with Castel. Yeah, he can just get back another Pike and not use his effect. He gets Genix Undying in the process from Pike's effect. And he obviously wouldn't want to get back Lindy because it's once per turn, but yeah, as long as he has a Pike in his graveyard, all he has to do is just summon another Pike back. He can go for Castel. I mean, if there's 3 rank 4s you want to play in any deck, like in Mermail, I mean, I would think 101 Castel and like Exoton Knight, but in Mermail, I would try and make space for Bahamut Shark. That's just me. Well, I mean, and probably Abyss Dweller too. You know, like maybe just those 5. You know, maybe, yeah, those are the primary 5 that I would want to play. 101, Castel, Bahamut Shark, Exoton Knight, Abyss Dweller. Yeah. Okay, so he's looking at his graveyard. Now, I really hope that he plays Castel, because if he doesn't, he could end up getting wrecked here for like no reason at all, other than the fact that he just maybe didn't maximize his extra deck efficiency. That would be a really, really bad reason to lose a duel. Wow, that makes me think that he may not have Castel in his extra deck. The fact that he didn't immediately just make Castel and spin BLS. I mean, Mermail is a tight extra deck. Maybe he doesn't have space for it. I mean, if he can summon another 7, then he's golden. Okay, so he has Salvage, which is a card I think now that they're maxing on, it should be game. Even if he didn't, he passed his turn. Okay. He's going to take 2 attacks, but with Gundy and Pike, you know, or Gundy and heavy infantry, excuse me. With Gundy and heavy infantry, I don't see any way that the BLS lives. Considering that Vanksta cannot Solemn Warning. I just don't see any way unless he like preemptively flips over Vanity's Emptiness and like all Zara Yu-Gi-Ohs are like special summon monsters. Like maybe he'd lose then. But as long as he has like a Pike or something, I'm actually surprised. Maybe he hasn't used Abyssius or something like that. Like I was going to say, maybe he's just going to summon a 7 and go Big Eye and just, you know, take it. Like that would have been a legit play. But I mean, all he needs to do is just get a monster on board that lets you discard and he can just go for Pike. Okay, this is not looking great. He sets a card. And it gets banished. And it is Osha. And I really hope Zara Yu-Gi-Oh is not choking this game away. That would be really, really bad. I mean, just the fact that he had the salvage, that should have gotten him whatever the hell he needed to kill BLS. And oh my god, he might be choking this game away. He might be choking this game away. Because, I mean, he's just going to keep banishing. Like, if he ends up setting the Gundy or something, you just know he has, like, the most brickiest bad hand ever. But, like, how bad could it be? I mean, maybe it's a controller set or something like that. I don't know. Mermail players have been known to bluff, like, controller set or whatever. He's going to banish. And it's an Undying. Okay, that's got away with that, basically. Now, I don't know about those back row. I feel like they could be floodgate cards. Like, they could be, like, more shadow mirrors and stuff like that. I still feel like if you salvaged and you got Gundy and heavy infantry, like, why did you get those cards if you didn't have a way of triggering them? You should have gotten, like, different cards or something like that. Alright, so he has Abyss Squall. And Zara Yu-Gi-Oh's gonna let him resolve. I mean, Vanks is gonna let him resolve it? Okay. If he couldn't go for Big Eye before, I'm fairly certain he can go for Big Eye now. Or at least Dracozag. Alright, so he goes for Lindy. What else? I mean, I'd have to think that the Megalo is going to be one of the monsters that comes out. Abyss Squall. Really pretty artwork on this card. I feel like if it's not hollow, maybe it should be hollow. He goes for multiple Lindies. If he plays that Nightmare Shark thing, the whatever the rank 3 is that lets you attack directly, he could just win. He could just go into it and basically just attack him for a game, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they can't attack, but the other guys can. You know, any cards that you make with it. Alright, so instead, he's just going to activate Pike's effect. Pike can't activate, or excuse me, Pike won't resolve, but it really won't matter because he can still pay his cost. Alright, so he summons Gent's Controller, and I'd just attack with Controller, honestly, just to see what happens. So he's going to Synchro. 7. Is it Black Rose time? I don't know. I feel like if you go Black Rose, like, what happens if you fall into, like, artifacts or something like that? Like, that could be bad. Alright, so he's going to Black Rose the field. It's going to completely clear it. Sinister Shadow Games is going to be chained. What does that do? Because Sinister Shadow Games is going to resolve before Black Rose Dragon, which means Shadow Mirror will still be up. Okay, well, you know what? If you get rid of the Shadow Mirror, then whatever monster effect that you send to the graveyard will resolve now. Because, yeah, MST will resolve first. So, Shadow Mirror is no longer on the field. And I guess he's going to go Falco. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You just go Falco, basically. And then Lindy will die. Falco will be set. Lindy's going to trigger. I expect Megalo to come out. There's Megalo. Problem is, Megalo still has to attack the Falco, so he can't technically game him. Falco dies because he already activated his effect. He's going to play another salvage for heavy infantry, and... I don't know. Maybe Lindy. Yeah, okay, Lindy. Depending on I guess it really depends on like the rest of your hand, but yeah. So, all right, there it is. Vanks has scooped it up. It didn't even matter what was in Czar Yu-Gi-Oh's hand. If he didn't have a way of getting rid of the Megalo, he could just attack him for game with that. So, I guess he didn't. You know, if he top decked any Shaddolls fusion cards, they were probably dead because he didn't have a way to pay for the cards. Thank you guys for watching as always.